Alrighty, yo, what is going on? Everybody, it's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to, and it's just so much craziness going on over this weekend. Excuse me. It's been so much craziness going on over this weekend, I can't even keep up with it no more, man. First, the Jamie Foxx situation, then the Kai New York situation. Now you got Lizzo out here getting sued. You got Lizzo out here getting sued. Got women eating bananas out of other women's vaginas and shit. Oh, against their will. Oh man. Oh man, Lizzo, you was one of the BBWs, man. Lizzo, you was one of the BBWs, man. You was one of the BBWs. I get that schmeat too. You know what I'm saying? Damn, Lizzo, I didn't know you was out here like this. Hey, Lizzo a freak though. I ain't gonna lie though.
Freaky frog! You freaky frog! You a freaky frog! Fucking freaky frog! You a freaky frog! You's a freaky ass nigga! Fuck you mean?
I didn't know Lizzo was out here like this. But man, it'd be 3.5 minutes, maybe even 4. I'll tear that ass up, boy. What y'all talking about? I love them BBWs, man, because BBWs is the freaks. I'm just keeping it real with y'all, bro. BBWs are freaks. You see what Lizzo got people out here doing, going to sex shows and eating bananas out of vaginas. Bro, I'm telling y'all, get you a big girl. Those are the easiest girls to get. If you don't, you ain't gotta settle for no, Honey Boo Boo Mama looking ass bitch. Or no fucking Precious looking ass girl. You ain't gotta settle for them. I ain't talking about them big girls. I'm talking about the ones that's built like Lizzo, look good in the face, got it good in the waist, you know what I'm saying? With some ass back there, titties like pow, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with a big girl, you know what I'm saying? Big girls need love too, Craig. ain't nothing wrong fucking with a baby D. Ain't nothing wrong with a baby D. Get you a baby D in your life. You get all the new snacks. All the 2030 snacks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with a big girl, man. Shit, ain't nothing wrong with it, man. I'll tell that Lizzo ass, boy. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about them allegations. I'll still tear that ass up, boy. Y'all got me fucked up. Y'all like I won't tear that ass up there, boy. Bob. Oh, isn't that pushy, man? But anyways, though, let's get right into this.
Now, these allegations that are coming out against Lizzo, something I wasn't expecting. Gotta talk about this one. Now, Lizzo, a 30...
See, she not even that bad. She not even... Like, niggas try to make it seem like, cause she fat, like you can't deny, she good looking in the face. You can't deny that. You know what I'm saying? You can't deny she ain't good looking in the face now.
My mind's telling me no.
Don't act like Lizzo ain't good looking in the face. You know you want to hit that. I'm telling you, bro, big girls are the easiest licks, bro. I'm telling y'all, bro, big girls are the easiest licks because they the freakiest and they the horniest, bro. If you go to the club, stop looking for the big booty girls. The big booty girls don't want you. Okay? Yo, you just got to be a certain type of nigga to get the big booty girls. What you need to do, and this is for the other. I can't speak for myself. For me, it's a little different. I can get the big booty girl, no problem. I can get the big booty girl. I can get the skitty girl. I can get the itty bitty titty community girl. I can go over there and talk to the dykes, and one of them probably gonna want to fuck the shit out of me and give me their number, and then I can go and I can get the big girl. The big girl, but I can tell you like this: the big girls are the easiest ones. They're the ones that are looking. They see you. As long as you got a good personality, you smiling, you having a good time, and you walk up to them, you say, "Ooh, you looking good, baby. You looking good, baby. I like your hair. I like your dress. What your name is?" You know what I'm saying? It's easy, bro. I'm trying to give y'all game, bro. It's not Riz. It's not no fucking Riz. You don't need fucking Riz. Not for no big girl. No, nigga, all you need to do is just have good conversation, cool personality. Just don't come off as a weirdo, okay? Because you gotta remember, they still girls. They still will reject your ass. But a big girl is the easiest one to pick.
5-year-old rapper, singer, songwriter out of Detroit, Michigan. She's a very big, no pun intended, artist in the mainstream world of music who's very loved by her fans. Lizzo's one of those artists who has a different kind of fan base, mainly because she's became this figure in the mainstream who's always been considered very inclusive, if you will. She's a face for what they call the body positivity movement. She's an LGBTQ ally as well, and overall, she, just like I said, she's very inclusive. Her fan base reflects that openness, and so far, it's been working out for her. Now that's until this lawsuit right here. Shall we talk about it? Well, let's talk about it. So like we always do over here, let's get an overview of what exactly is going on. So yesterday, it was reported that 35-year-old Lizzo is facing a lawsuit that was filed by 3 of her tour dancers who claimed that they were subjected to sexual harassment and hostile work environment. On top of that, they recalled one specific situation where they were pressured to touch nude dancers during a live show, and Lizzo is the one who apparently pressured.
See, man, I'm telling you, man, the big girls, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. Y'all know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta stop acting like that, man. Stop acting like them big girls. Man, that's. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. That's some good pussy under them. Hey, man, especially they got a fupa in my nigga. If they got a fupa in my nigga, that pussy good to the motherfucker. Cause that shit squeezed in real tight. So when you go in, that motherfucker gonna feel good to the bitch. I'm telling you, the first 3 strokes, nigga, you gonna feel that shit. That shit feel good to the motherfucker. I'm just saying, bro. I'm telling you, the big girls, especially when they got that ass too. Big girls with fat asses. Oh, nigga, that's a blessing, nigga. That's a blessing, especially when they throw it back, nigga. We got a big girl that like to throw it back, nigga. Oh. I'll just say.
Them to do this. So the complaint that was filed Tuesday in Los Angeles court was filed by Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noelle Rodriguez. These 3 women are coming out with a bunch of allegations against Lizzo. On top of harassment, hostile work environment accusations, we also have racial and religious discrimination. Now the racial discrimination part is kind of interesting because they're saying that Lizzo, a black woman, was discriminating against her own kind, i.e., other black women. On top of allegations against Lizzo herself, a woman by the name of Charlene Quigley is also brought up in this lawsuit. Charlene was apparently the captain of Lizzo's dance team. So let's go over one of these allegations. And this encounter apparently went down in Amsterdam, one of my favorite cities in the world. I've been there like 5 times. Love it. Out here in Amsterdam. Yes, sir. So this encounter allegedly went down in the red light district. Lizzo, her.
And you know what go down in the red light district, right?
My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes.
Telling you,
Baby,
no matter.
I
Don't want to hurt nobody.
but there is something that I must confess.
That red light district, bro.
I don't see nothing wrong.
Her entourage and these 3 dancers apparently attended a sex show in the red light district, and they were allegedly pressured to engage with the performers. How exactly were they pressured to engage with them? Well, let's check out this excerpt from the lawsuit. Lizzo began inviting cast members to take turns touching the nude performers, catching dildos launched from the performers' vaginas, and eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas? Wait a second, did I just read that? Eating bananas protruding from the performers' vaginas? Tell me Lizzo pressured these women to do that? This bitch is crazy.
That's a different type of banana pudding right there, my nigga. That's a different type of banana pudding. Pudding popping.
skinny bananas protruding from the performers is insane. So what happened after this is one of the dancers in this lawsuit stated that Lizzo turned all of her attention towards her and began pressuring her to touch one of the nude performers' breasts. Lizzo then turned her attention to Ms. Davis and began pressuring Ms. Davis to touch the breasts of one of the nude women performing at the club, the lawsuit claims. Now the pressuring apparently didn't stop there because they're claiming that Lizzo led a chant driving the same dancer to touch the nude performer. So essentially she started with pressuring her, and then after that, when she didn't do it, she literally led a chant. So I guess something like touch the titty, touch the titty. Apparently Ariana Davis ended up caving and she did it. Not because she wanted to, but allegedly due to the pressure that was being applied from Lizzo. It's also being alleged that the captain of the dance team was apparently forcing her religious beliefs on the women. Aside from that, she apparently made them uncomfortable by making comments about their sexuality, and on top of that gave fellatio to a banana in front of them. Now this next part of the lawsuit is interesting because they were saying that Lizzo was not outright making remarks about their weight, but apparently called attention to their weight after a performance at South by Southwest. Their lawyer said the following.
Oh no, Lizzo, you wrong for that. You got some nerve. Lizzo, you got some nerve talking about somebody's weight. Now listen, I'm all for body positivity now. I'm all for body positivity. But Lizzo, you coming off as a fucking hypocrite right now, bruh. For real, you coming off as a fucking hypocrite right now. You got some nerve talking about somebody's weight. Knowing goddamn well you looking like a hungry hippo. But girl, bye.
About this, the stunning nature of how Lizzo and her management team treated their performers seems to go against everything Lizzo stands for publicly, while privately she weight shames her dancers ways that are not only illegal but absolutely demoralizing, the lawyer said. So this part right here is of course very notable because like we stated at the beginning and like all of us know, Lizzo is the face of the body positivity movement. What that precisely is, by the way, essentially it's a movement which its intended goal is to challenge the societal standards of appearance. It's intended to promote acceptance of all body shapes, sizes, despite the difference in gender or skin tone in said bodies. The main focal point of the body positivity movement, however, is specifically the acceptance of people with a higher body weight. Now, the body positivity movement itself is a trend. It's a new thing that just arose around a decade ago, but the ideology of the movement has been around since the 1960s and directly derives from the fat acceptance movement. The first time the movement went public was in 1967 when a radio personality by the name of Steve Post held a quote-unquote Fat In protest in Central Park, New York. The Fat In protest garnered over 500 people who came together in Central Park, New York to protest bias against fat people. So that's where the body positivity movement derives from, and the movement has a really positive intention, but I think with how things are these days, especially with this generation, they take everything too far and it goes from promote loving your body to outright promote an unhealthy lifestyle. I'm an advocate for people loving their bodies, yes. By the same token, however, being overweight is unhealthy and should not be celebrated. Two things can be true at once, and we should always strive to stay grounded in this thing called reality. So Lizzo has been the poster girl for the big girls, if you will. She was even on the Vogue cover some time back. So to hear this, when your whole brand is based on being this person who on top of that gets elevated by the industry because of it, yet you're allegedly out here acting like this, to me that's insane. Now, as for Lizzo weight shaming, I guess, these women right here, these dancers, aside from that being a call that's coming from inside the house, yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what this might have looked like, by the way. I'll say this about that, and yes, they're gonna call me fatphobic after this, but I'm fine with that. It's hard to imagine Lizzo, of all people, saying things about someone else's weight. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. And part of me is like, ain't no way Lizzo was on that. But then again, is it really too far-fetched? And I'll talk about this point later, but just because Lizzo is overweight herself doesn't mean that she can't possibly be one of those people who would weight shame another person, let alone a woman. What the lawsuit specifically stated is that she needed to apparently explain her weight gain and disclose intimate personal details about her life in order to keep her job. Now, as for the racial discrimination part, it's being alleged by the dancers that all the melanated, i.e. black dancers of the team were apparently getting treated differently than those who weren't black. They're saying that they got accused of being lazy, unprofessional, and having bad attitudes, and none of this criticism was being pointed towards the other non-melanated dancers. Now, as for this allegation right here, I wonder how this actually looked suspect. Like if they're showing up on a job being unprofessional, being lazy, and having a bad attitude, then personally, I don't know what you think, but personally, I think they should be able to get called out for it. I'm not assuming that they showed up in this manner. I'm just saying if they did, then of course this was justified, right? Just for the mere fact that if you're getting paid to show up to a job, you being professional, you not being lazy by taking any shortcuts, and you showing up with an attitude of gratitude, all that right there, that's to be expected. And in this case, let's say that it was justified. Does that automatically have to be because they were melanated? Not necessarily. On the other hand, if the other non-melanated dancers were showing up the same way as the black dancers, i.e. unprofessional, having bad attitudes, and being lazy, then obviously they should have faced the same criticism and scrutiny as the black dancers. On another encounter with Lizzo, the dancers were claiming that they were subjected to, in quotation marks, an excruciating re-audition back in April after they repeatedly got accused of drinking alcohol before they were supposed to go on stage to work. It was being alleged that the work environment was really bad. They apparently didn't get any bathroom breaks for hours and feared asking for a break because they didn't want to get fired. On this other encounter and allegation, one of the dancers who apparently privately recorded performance notes, I'm guessing it was during a rehearsal maybe, but she ended up getting fired the following month after Lizzo found out that she did this. What happened after this is one of the other dancers allegedly approached Lizzo about this encounter and told her that she would now resign. Lizzo after this apparently aggressively approached her with balled fists, obviously meaning I'm about to beat your ass type of vibe, right? The dancer stated that she feared Lizzo would have acted out on her threats by hitting her had the other dancers not been in the vicinity. So that's essentially what this entire lawsuit is about. Lizzo's being accused of essentially being the complete opposite of what the public know her as. From this description that they're making of her, she doesn't sound like a pleasant person at all, and that is a little bit shocking because I wasn't expecting that, especially when it comes to Lizzo. I don't know too much about Lizzo, but just from the little I know, I didn't think this kind of description would ever be attached to her. Now, as for what I think about this entire situation, well, first of all, I'll be completely honest with you. After everything I've read so far, I don't think this entire thing warrants a lawsuit. Let me explain further. Hypothetically speaking, let's say that every single thing on this lawsuit is true. That to me just paints the picture of a version of Lizzo that depicts someone who's an asshole, who's very mean and not a good person behind the scenes, and definitely deserves to get exposed. Not because they're successful and we're holding a grudge against a person for what they have and we're preying on their downfall, not at all, right? But because said person is pretending to be this loving human and is fooling millions of people, a lot of those being young kids, that they are what they say they are. If you ask me, unauthentic behavior to this extent, especially when a person in question has a lot of influence, should get exposed 100%. But with that being said, I don't think being a bad person to this extent warrants a lawsuit. I mean, for example, they were allegedly out at this sex show in Amsterdam. Lizzo, I guess, allegedly pressured them to touch the nude woman performing. They could have, of course, not done it, but they did acquiesce because she stayed on their neck about it. I understand that there's a power dynamic that comes into play, because if someone of Lizzo's stature that you're working for tells you to do something, most people in their shoes are gonna comply because of that dynamic. Also, let's not forget that not only is she Lizzo and she's a superstar and she's mainstream and she's famous and successful, but she's also their boss. So that's another aspect of this. I mean, this is not an office job we're talking about. When these girls were out in Europe, Amsterdam with Lizzo, and they're out smiling and laughing together, they could be at the bar or they could be at the sex show and Lizzo is still their boss. They might have been traveling all around the world together, but at the end of the day, they're still working wherever they go. So wherever they go, no matter the environment, they're still at the end of the day working. And when you're out on a job with your boss and they tell you to do something, you're most likely going to comply, right? Especially if they're out here insisting and leading a chant like touch the titty, touch the titty. Now this right here, to me at least, sounds like someone who doesn't know what boundaries are. When someone doesn't want to do something like touch naked women, even if it's at a sex show, you just let it be without insisting that they do it. Why does she allegedly have to pressure these women into doing that? That's really weird and inappropriate, right? I don't know about you, but to me that's a description of someone who's very controlling and very manipulative, because people who are manipulative and controlling have a very hard time when people actually tell them no, and it's just something that's kind of like an overload to their system. They can't take it because they're not used to it, especially if people usually acquiesce to their demands. And as far as that description, that story right there, that's kind of the picture that it paints in my head, at least. With that being my stance, I don't think that makes Lizzo a criminal. I just think it makes her a DICK head. There's no mention of Lizzo outright forcing herself on these dancers in any kind of way, or, you know, doing anything to cause harm to them. But there is mentions of Lizzo, number one, not respecting other people's boundaries, and number two, just being an asshole, right? Also, the alleged racial discrimination stuff on top of that, and for that, she's obviously whack if it's true. So that's kind of what I think about that. I'm not sure what you think. Like I stated, I just think she sounds very unpleasant, mean, and just controlling, manipulative. Not a good boss at all, but I don't think she's a criminal, right? On the other hand, there is the emotional distress part that comes into play. A lot of lawsuits get filed because someone suffered emotional trauma and emotional distress due to the actions of another person. If everything happened the way they claim it happened, then obviously it must have caused some kind of emotional distress to them that could have had a negative effect on their life after those events. For them to actually win a case like this in the court of law, by the way, they're going to need extensive, and I mean extensive, documentation of everything that transpired. So let's say they don't have extensive documentation. Well, in that case, it's very unlikely that they're actually going to win. However, maybe for these three women right here, for them, it could actually not be about winning, but it could more so be about retaliating against Lizzo by exposing to the public who she allegedly is behind the scenes. Because with them filing this lawsuit, now we're all talking about it. So mission accomplished for them. Now, I'm not.
Oh, I thought that was the end of the video. But you know what? We're going to stop it right here for right now. But anyway, so that's all. I wanted more clarification on this. Now, the eating of the vagina thing, he does have a point on that. You could have said no. Like, real talk, you could have said no. I mean, if you didn't want to do that, you didn't want to do that. But you know what? If you did it, then, you know, I'm just saying, if I don't feel comfortable with something, I'm not going to do it. Like, if I'm doing a movie and they tell me to put on a dress and a wig, I'm not doing it. I don't care if that'll be my one chance. I'm not neglecting. I'm not going against my morals for money and fame. Fuck the money and the fame, my nigga. Your morals is more important. People got to stay true to them, bro. I understand it may pay the bills, but if you can't swallow your pride sometimes, just be like, you know what? Working at a clothing store ain't so bad. Or maybe being a security guard ain't so bad. Maybe working at Amazon or UPS ain't so bad. You know what I'm saying? Because at least I ain't got to do shit that I don't want to do. At least I know that I'm there to do a task. And I'm not there to, you know what I'm saying, like, do something against my will like this, my nigga. As far as, like, eating a banana out of somebody's vagina, you got me fucked up, bitch. For real. Like, bitch, you got me fucked up to the highest degree. Like, I could never. But the other shit, like he also said, they gonna need some documentation to prove these claims, because the fact that these claims are just now coming out, they gonna have to prove this shit, because if there is work discrimination going on and they weren't getting breaks and nothing like that. Now, I mean, without the documentation, yeah, there might not be documentation, but there are witnesses. And witnesses are just as good as documentation. So there's that. But anyways, though, we'll see how this unfolds going forward when we get to that point. But anyways, though, that's just going to about do it for this one. At this point, I really don't give a shit. Lizzo can still get the dick. That's all I'm going to say. Till then, peace out.